Today we discuss the explode command. The explode command is found within the modify panel under the home tab, and it's this little icon right here. Again, as we've discussed in other videos, if you just let your mouse sit on the command icon, a dialog box appears and it tells you the name of the command, a brief definition of what it does, as well as an example with a visual of how this command operates. There are two ways to activate this command. You can click the command icon, and if I look in the command bar, I see that it is the active command. I'm going to hit escape. I can type explode down here. Now notice I'm going to have to type the entire word. Other times we have been able to abbreviate or just type in the starting letter, but in this case you see EX is a shortcut for another command. So in this case I actually have to type the entire word and then hit enter to activate the explode command. Like other modification commands we've discussed, it modifies existing geometry. But first, before we draw something, let's look at the definition here. It breaks a compound object into its component objects. In another video we've discussed the join command. So join actually takes these individual or independent components and puts them together to form a compound object. So this is actually how we undo join. So here I've selected the line command and I'm going to draw a 3x3 square, and each line you just saw me draw there is an individual component. So let's say I had to join these line segments for some reason to create this square. Now notice I hover my cursor over one of the lines and the entire shape lights up. Versus, let's just kind of redraw the box here just to prove this point. Versus here on this box, when I put my cursor over one of the components, only that component is highlighted or lights up. Alright, so let's get rid of this guy here. I don't need this. So if I wish to have each of these individual components be individual components, again, I need to use the explode command. So I'll go up here, click this explode icon, and if again, we've discussed this many times, always look in your command bar, because in the command bar it tells you how to proceed with using this command. So here it tells me to select the objects. So here I'm going to select all of the entire square here, which is made up of each 4 different components. So I select the entire object and then I hit enter. Now the command is no longer active, and notice here my cursor is over one of the components, and instead of the entire shape lighting up, only one of the components lights up. Okay, so it works if I were to take individual components and put them together. I can then take them apart. It also works if I start with a total shape without having to put a shape together with individual pieces, but if I just start with a shape. So I've selected polygon, and down here in the command bar, number of sides, I'll say 5. It doesn't really matter how I draw this. That's a whole nother video. The purpose of this is just to get it on the screen here. There it is. Alright, there's a pentagon. Now notice by default it is one solid components, one total thing made up of 5 separate things. So here I can explode this as well. So in this case I will type in the explode command, hit enter, and notice in the command bar it tells me to select the objects. I will just highlight the entire pentagon, hit enter. The command is no longer active, which means each of these is now an individual line segment. That's it. It's a separate component. This also works with the rectangle command. Again, we'll just draw one quickly because it doesn't matter in this video. That's not the purpose. Now, if I select this, the whole thing lights up. Explode, I just selected the explode icon. I highlight the entire shape, hit enter, and now each one of these is its own individual thing, which will allow me now to erase or trim individual components versus the entire thing being deleted, the entire shape. This will not work for circles. It will not work with an ellipse because it's already one thing, even though it's also its own independent shape. So just practice randomly drawing a rectangle with the rectangle command. Polygon, just follow the steps in the command bar. If you haven't already watched the polygon video or the rectangle video, just play around with it. Just get them on the screen. If you're not comfortable with that, you are or you should be comfortable with how to create this 3x3 square that I draw in most videos to use that as a basic example. Watch the join video to learn how to join these individual shapes, individual line segments together to create this one shape, a square, and then from there come back to this video to watch how to explode this shape back into those individual components. That's pretty much it. So go practice.